Isn't it amazing how conversations can transform everything? They're the bridges that connect us to others. Yet starting one can sometimes feel like the hardest thing in the world. Have you ever stood in a room, maybe at a party or a networking event, wanted to talk to someone but feeling paralyzed by hesitation? That moment of uncertainty where you second guess yourself is what keeps most people from forming meaningful connections. Here's the secret. It's all about the first word. Think of it as a floodgate. The first word is the key to unlocking the flow of conversation. It's that little spark that turns silence into dialogue. And the beauty of it? It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be said. Imagine this scenario. You're standing at a coffee shop and you notice someone wearing a t-shirt of your favorite band. You want to compliment them, but your mind freezes, filled with thoughts like, what if they think I'm weird? Or what if they don't respond? Here's the reality. What's the worst that can happen? They ignore you? They're not talking to you now anyway. On the flip side, what if they smile, light up, and share a story about how that band changed their life too? That's the magic of the first word. It doesn't have to be grand or witty. A simple hi, hey, or hello is often all it takes. Combine it with a genuine smile and a little confidence, and you've already made a great first impression. Think of it as bowling. Gather your energy, line up your shot, and let the ball roll. Sure, you might not get a strike every time, but you've started the game, and that's what matters. Here's something to consider. Every person you've ever known, a friend, a colleague, even your closest family members, was once a stranger. The only reason they're part of your life now is that someone took the first step to start a conversation. Maybe it was you, maybe it was them, but it always began with that single word. Starting a conversation doesn't have to feel daunting. It's about breaking the ice and taking a leap, no matter how small it might seem. Once you say that first word, the rest will flow naturally. You'll find that people are often more receptive than you expect, and most are just as eager to connect as you are. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you feel hesitant, take a deep breath, put on your best smile, and say hi. The ripple effect of that small gesture might surprise you, because with that first word, you're not just opening a floodgate. You're opening the door to endless possibilities. Number second, skip the small talk and ask personal questions. Small talk. It's the polite default for starting conversations, but let's be honest, it rarely leads anywhere memorable. You know the drill. Hi, how are you? Followed by I'm fine, thanks. How about you? And just like that, 45 seconds of your life are gone, leaving both participants slightly bored and none the wiser about each other. If you want to make a conversation meaningful, skip the small talk and go straight to asking personal questions. Now, I know what you're thinking. Personal questions sound intrusive, right? Not at all. When done with genuine curiosity, they show interest and invite the other person to share a piece of their story. Here's an example. Instead of asking, what do you do? Try asking, what's the story behind how you got into your job? Suddenly, you're not just exchanging information. You're uncovering experiences, passions, and motivations. Or, if you meet someone with an interesting name, ask, is there a story behind your name? Did your parents choose it for a special reason? These questions do something powerful. They move the conversation from surface-level facts to the things that make us unique. A personal favorite of mine? Where do you come from? And where does your family live? It's a simple question, yet it often leads to deep and heartfelt exchanges. Let me tell you a story. I once asked a cab driver this question, and before I knew it, he was telling me about his hometown in Pakistan, his farm, his family, and his life's journey. By the end of the ride, not only did I learn about his culture and experiences, but he was also enthusiastically pitching his college-educated son as a potential match for me, complete with a passport photo. The moral of the story? People love to share when they sense that you're genuinely interested. Asking personal questions builds a bridge of trust and openness, allowing both of you to connect on a deeper level. It's not about prying. It's about creating a space where someone feels seen, heard, and valued. The beauty of this approach is that it's a two-way street. While they're opening up, you also get the chance to share your own stories, finding common ground and moments of mutual understanding. That's how conversations become memorable adventures instead of forgettable exchanges. So the next time you find yourself in a room full of strangers or sitting next to someone new, resist the urge to stick to small talk. Dive straight into meaningful questions that matter. You'll be surprised how quickly the walls come down and how much richer your conversations will become. Number third, find the Me Too moments. Ever met someone who starts a conversation with something like, "I'm from New York," only for the other person to say, "Ugh, I hate New York"? Nothing kills a conversation faster than negativity. Instead, imagine this. "I'm from New York." Really? I visited once during the holidays. It was magical with all the lights. Suddenly, the conversation takes on a warm, shared tone. That's the magic of finding a Me Too moment. Me Too moments are those tiny threads of commonality that tie two people together, no matter how different they might seem on the surface. They could be as simple as enjoying the same type of weather, loving the same book, or even being in the same place at the same time. These moments create a sense of camaraderie, as if you and the other person are on the same team, even if you've just met. Think of the last time you bonded with someone over something trivial. Maybe you both groaned about the traffic or laughed about the awkward silence in a meeting. Those little moments are deceptively powerful. Why? Because they instantly make you feel like you belong, turning strangers into allies and making the conversation flow naturally. Here's a trick. Start with your surroundings. If you're at a concert, you already know the other person likes the band or artist performing. If you're in a class or a meeting, you have a shared reason for being there. Use that as your opening. Can you believe how amazing this band sounds live? Or what did you think of that last presentation? Pretty wild, right? These aren't groundbreaking questions, but they act as doorways to a deeper exchange. And if the other person seems reluctant at first, don't worry. Keep exploring until you hit that shared interest. Let me share a story. I once struck up a conversation with a fellow traveler on a flight. At first, the chat was lukewarm, basic pleasantries about the destination. But then, I mentioned I loved mystery novels, and their eyes lit up. Turns out, they were a mystery writer. What began as a hesitant exchange turned into a deep dive into our favorite books, authors, and the creative process. The Me Too approach isn't just about finding shared interests. It's also about creating a feeling of connection. People want to feel understood, and when you discover that one thing you have in common, it's like saying, "I get you." That's an incredibly validating experience, especially in today's fast-paced, often isolating world. So, the next time you meet someone new, don't focus on how different they might be from you. Instead, look for the Me Too moments. They're everywhere, hidden in stories, shared experiences, and even casual observations. Finding one isn't just a way to keep the conversation alive. It's a way to make it meaningful. Number fourth, give unique and genuine compliments. Think about the last time someone gave you a compliment that made you pause and smile. Not the usual "you look nice" or "good job," but something specific and genuine. Maybe it was "I love how your laugh fills up the whole room," or "the way you explain things makes them so easy to understand." Compliments like these stick because they're thoughtful and unique. They make people feel seen. Giving compliments is one of the easiest ways to make someone feel valued, but there's an art to it. The first rule: avoid generic phrases. Words like nice, cool, or awesome are so overused they've lost their impact. Imagine meeting someone stunning and saying, "You're beautiful." While it's a kind sentiment, if they've heard it 100 times before, it barely registers. Instead, get specific. "You have this incredible glow about you that makes you light up the room." Now that's a compliment they'll remember. Genuine compliments require observation. Pay attention to the details about someone, how they carry themselves, their tone of voice, or even their choice of words. Notice the small things that others might overlook. For instance, if someone's wearing an intricate piece of jewelry, you could say, "That necklace is stunning. It feels like it has a story, does it?" This not only makes the compliment unique, but also opens the door for further conversation. Let me share a personal example. I once told a friend, "When you smile, it's like your whole face smiles. Your eyes, your cheeks, even your eyebrows join in." She laughed and later told me that it was one of the most memorable compliments she'd ever received. Why? Because it was specific to her. It wasn't something she could have heard from anyone else. The second rule of giving compliments: be authentic. People can sense when you're being insincere, and it does more harm than good. A forced or exaggerated compliment can feel manipulative. But when your words come from a place of genuine appreciation, they resonate. Even if the compliment is about something small, like how someone's handwriting is elegant, if it's honest, it carries weight. Compliments aren't just about making others feel good. They're conversation starters. When you tell someone, "You have such a confident way of speaking," you're not just flattering them. You're inviting them to share more about themselves. Maybe they'll talk about how they overcame their fear of public speaking or how they practiced for years. From there, the conversation flows naturally. Lastly, remember that everyone loves feeling special. Whether it's a stranger you just met or a friend you've known for years, a well-thought-out compliment can brighten their day and deepen your connection. So, the next time you meet someone, look for something unique about them. Compliment it genuinely, and watch how quickly barriers fall away and conversations flourish. Number 5, ask for their opinion. Everyone has opinions. Whether it's about the latest blockbuster, the best pizza topping, or life's big questions, people love sharing what they think. And here's the secret. Asking someone's opinion is one of the quickest ways to make them feel valued and engaged in a conversation. Why does this work so well? It's simple. When you ask for someone's opinion, you're telling them, "What you think matters to me." That's a powerful message. Most of us go through our day without anyone asking for our input, so when someone does, it feels refreshing and validating. But here's the catch. Not all questions are created equal. If your question is overly complex or intimidating, it can backfire. For example, imagine asking someone you just met, "What's your stance on the global economy's impact on small businesses?" Unless you're in a room full of economists, that question might make them feel cornered. Instead, keep it simple and relatable. Ask questions like, "What's your go-to comfort food?" Or "Have you watched any good shows recently?" These are low-pressure questions that invite easy, natural responses. When you're asking for opinions, the key is to choose topics that feel approachable. Think about universal experiences, food, movies, travel, hobbies, or even lighthearted dilemmas. One of my favorite questions is, "What's your favorite childhood memory?" It's a personal yet positive question that almost always sparks a meaningful story. Once you've asked, it's crucial to truly listen to their answer. This might seem obvious, but often we listen to reply rather than to understand. There's a difference. When you listen to reply, you're just waiting for your turn to speak. When you listen to understand, you're fully present, taking in their words, tone, and emotion. It's in these moments of genuine listening that connections are formed. Let me share a moment that stayed with me. I once asked a new colleague, "What's the most interesting place you've ever traveled to?" She lit up and described a tiny village in Italy where she learned to make pasta from a grandmother who spoke no English. The way her face brightened as she recounted the experience was unforgettable. That simple question not only helped us bond, but also gave me a glimpse into her personality and passions. Another great thing about asking for opinions is that it naturally creates a two-way street. People often reciprocate by asking for your thoughts, turning a one-sided interaction into a balanced conversation. For example, if you ask someone, "What's your favorite way to unwind after a long day?" and they answer, they're likely to ask you the same, giving you the chance to share something about yourself. When engaging with someone, make it a habit to invite their thoughts into the discussion. Thoughtful questions and active listening are the foundation of meaningful exchanges. The more you practice this, the richer your conversations will become, and the deeper your connections will grow. Number 6, be fully present. We live in a world full of distractions. Phones buzz, notifications ping, and our minds constantly wander to the next thing on our to-do list. Yet when it comes to building genuine connections, nothing is more powerful than being fully present in the moment. Imagine pouring your heart out to someone, only to see them scrolling through their phone or glancing around the room. It stings, doesn't it? You feel unimportant, as though your words don't matter. On the flip side, think about a time when someone gave you their undivided attention. How comforting, validating, and rare that felt. That's the kind of presence that makes conversations truly meaningful. Being present isn't just about hearing the words, it's about feeling the emotion behind them. It's about making eye contact, nodding in understanding, and responding thoughtfully. Eye contact, in particular, is where much of the magic happens. When you look into someone's eyes, you're telling them, "I see you, and I'm here with you." And the impact of that simple gesture is profound. It fosters trust and deepens the bond. But presence isn't only about listening. It's about eliminating distractions. If your phone is buzzing, silence it. If you're in a crowded space, shift your focus entirely to the person in front of you. These small gestures might seem insignificant, but they signal that you value the conversation and the person you're speaking with. Let me share an example. During a particularly stressful period at work, a colleague asked how I was doing. At first, I gave the usual polite response, "I'm fine." But then, I noticed something remarkable. She wasn't rushing to move on. She leaned in, looked me in the eye, and asked, "Really?" That one word, combined with her genuine presence, broke down my walls. I found myself sharing thoughts and worries I hadn't voiced to anyone. It reminded me how much power there is in simply being there for someone. Practicing presence isn't about being perfect, it's about making the effort. Even if you're naturally prone to multitasking, start small. The next time someone speaks to you, pause whatever you're doing and turn your full attention to them. You'll notice a difference not just in how they respond, but also in how you feel. When you're truly present, you open the door to understanding and empathy. Conversations flow more naturally because the other person feels safe, heard, and respected. And in a world where everyone is in a hurry, the gift of your attention becomes a treasure. Cultivating this habit may take practice, but its rewards are endless. It turns ordinary conversations into extraordinary moments, creating a ripple effect of trust and connection. By being fully present, you're not just exchanging words, you're building relationships that truly matter. Number 7, remember the little details. What's in a name? A lot more than you might think. Remembering someone's name, or any detail they share about themselves, is one of the simplest yet most impactful ways to make them feel valued. It's a small act that says, "You matter, and I care enough to remember." Think about it. How does it feel when someone recalls something specific about you? Maybe they ask about your pet, your favorite hobby, or a place you mentioned wanting to visit. Those moments feel personal, even special, don't they? Now, imagine giving that feeling to others. Remembering details goes beyond names. It's about holding on to the little things that make someone unique. Did they mention a favorite travel destination? Ask if they planned their next trip. Did they talk about their dog? Follow up with, "How's Max doing these days?" These small gestures show that you were truly listening, and they create an instant bond. Here's a trick. Treat conversations like a mental filing system. When someone shares something important, mentally file it under their name. For example, if they tell you they love baking, associate their name with that detail. Sarah loves baking. Later, when you see them, it's easy to recall. Have you tried any new recipes recently, Sarah? This simple technique keeps details fresh in your mind. Let me share a personal story. I once met a co-worker at an event who casually mentioned his daughter loved painting. Months later, when I saw him again, I asked, "Has your daughter been working on any new art projects?" The smile that lit up his face was unforgettable. He was thrilled to talk about her creative journey and even shared pictures. That brief memory turned a polite interaction into a meaningful connection. But there's more to it than just remembering. You need to use those details in a way that feels natural. When you bring up something someone has shared, do it with genuine curiosity. Avoid turning it into a checklist of facts. Instead, let the details naturally enhance the flow of conversation. Details also build trust. When someone knows you've remembered what matters to them, they're more likely to open up. This deepens the conversation and creates a space where both people feel valued. It's the kind of connection that stays with you long after the conversation ends. Of course, no one expects you to remember everything. Focus on what feels most significant and meaningful. Even remembering just one small thing about someone can make a world of difference. In the end, it's not about perfect recall. It's about showing that you care. By paying attention to the little details and weaving them into your interactions, you transform casual conversations into lasting connections. And in a world where so much feels fleeting, that's a gift worth giving. The lessons we've explored together, whether it's skipping the small talk, finding shared moments, or giving a compliment that truly matters, are tools to help you build those bridges. But tools only work if you use them. I believe in you. You have everything it takes to create these connections and transform your conversations. And if you felt inspired by these ideas, there's so much more waiting for you. This is just the beginning of a journey toward deeper, more meaningful communication, not just with others, but with yourself. Take this as your sign. Start applying these lessons today. Open that door, spark that conversation, and let the magic unfold. And if you're ready for even more ways to grow, to learn, and to connect, hit that subscribe button. Together, we'll keep discovering the life lessons that make each moment richer, each relationship stronger, and each day more fulfilling. Let's keep building this journey together. Your next connection is waiting. Are you ready to make it happen?